When I started, I was scared to do like the skin color. Like I used to do the landscape, like the evening, the sunset and the sunrise. When I started finding out that I can mix some colors, put this, like just paint them, that was amazing. It made me feel like I'm capable of doing anything with the paint. Growing up, I started just drawing in my childhood, but I never thought that I will be serious in art until recently, like 4 years ago, when I took some classes at the Korea Arts Museum. And then from there, I started painting portraits and I took it serious. And once I find out that I have something that I can put out there and it can be important to people, that's when I took art serious.
Josimar Matamano's art career may just be getting started, but already his finished, or in his eyes, never really finished works are reaching a wide audience.
When I put out there my work, it's really amazing. I always get positive feedback and it's always encouraging, but also I always like to put it out there for critique. I don't take anything personal because I always learn every day from people's perspective and view. And from myself also, I learn every day because when I paint, it's always a new thing and I always see the growth and where I've been like yesterday and today, it's just there's always like a difference.
His vibrant canvases hang on the walls at Kimball Jenkins School of Art in Concord as part of Finding Home, Portraits, Memories, and Art of Immigrants, an exhibit shared with his friend and photographer Becky Field.
It makes it like a big deal to inspire even like the young generation, even not only the young generation, other artists, that anything is possible, you know. And this show really helps to put out the voice of immigrants, and Becky Field is doing a great job to do that, to put it out there, talk about the issues and the beauty they bring to the society, to the community.
Josimar was born in the Democratic Republic of Congo and lived there until he was 11 years old, when his family fled the unrest and lived in a refugee camp in Uganda before Josimar, his parents, and his 5 younger siblings landed in America in 2016, ready to work hard and live the American dream.
The culture shock was integrating to the new life and adapting to it, because the reality that we had on TV was not the reality that we were seeing.
He has since spent his spare time learning to paint and putting his experience as an immigrant in New Hampshire on canvas, hoping to spark conversations.
Most of my paintings are not only personal, they're really important to the history and to the community at large. When I do my work, I try to bring the story from where I'm from and where I live right now and put them together to try to put out the narrative that will bring the conversation forward for everyone to have the dialogue and people to get together and talk about different issues.
His progression as an artist reflected in his own growth as a man, as Josimar is often the subject looking back at you.
I usually use myself as a model because most of my paintings are political or has like some statements that are really strong, and because of that, I try to use myself as the person to get critiqued, and if there is like a backlash or anything, I'll be happy to get the backlash. With my work, I don't only see myself in it. I see so many other people who are not represented, but it's just the people who are not present there in the museums, in the galleries, and out there that needs to be seen and to be heard. So basically, this is really important to have like Black artists and immigrants here. So basically, that brings a lot to the community.
Most of his work brings into color the harsh realities for immigrants and people of color in America. But not everything he paints is political.
Basically here you're looking at portraits of women. I try to balance myself with political issues, social issues, and like paints about the beauty of women in our society. And basically these are some of the paintings that I've worked on of women. This one is called Piercing Eyes. It's oil on canvas. And I was trying to talk about the strengths and the beauty that women possess, Black women have.
Back in his home studio in Manchester, where he squeezes in time in his studio between having a full-time job and being a full-time student, Josimar has big plans.
This is the largest piece that I've ever worked on. So basically it's 72-inch by 48, and it's a canvas. I always have like 4 or 5 paintings going on at once because I don't want to get bored. Expression is really important to everything that I do, because if there is no expression, there is nothing there. So it has to speak, like it has to have a movement that talks more about what I'm trying to put out there.